Brendon, how are you?
Hey, I'm good. How about you?
Good, good. Thanks for joining me today. Can you do a quick introduction of who you are and what you do, please?
Sure. My name's Brendan Shank, and I have the privilege of being the Vice President for Marketing and Communications at Solar Landscape.
Awesome. And can you explain your situation when you came to work with M Studio and why you felt it was a good fit?
Absolutely. Solar Landscape was already working with them studio when I joined the company about a year ago or so, a little over now. Time flies and we're having fun. But so you guys were already working with them, and I was excited to maintain and build on that relationship.
Nice. And can you explain a little bit more about your experience working with us so far?
Yeah, it's been great. I think that we as a company, Solar Landscape, has experienced a lot of growth very quickly. And I think when it comes to marketing and communications, your biggest challenge is how to take advantage of all the opportunities that are presented to you and how to make sure that you are staying on message, that you're staying clear and consistent and compelling all the time through a variety of channels and through a variety of different audiences as well. So I think what's been great is M Studio's ability to listen and adapt and help us build value as we go along this very powerful growth trajectory.
Nice, thanks. Yes, it's been a pleasure. It's been fun to see the brand grow with the company and, just everything we've been able to partner with you on. What has been your biggest aha moment since working with the M Studio team?
I think it's probably been along when the experience of kind of developing and collaborating on the new brand identity, the new logo, which is right up there. And I think we knew that we were ready to grow into a new logo, a new refresh. But I think what is coolest about something like that when you make a really big change is it really sparks everybody internally and externally to think a little bit differently. Think about your position in the marketplace a little differently. Think about where else, if you have a brand new logo that you're proud of, where else should it go? What else should we be thinking? Where else should we be thinking about featuring it? I think there's a pretty standard set of places it has to go, but maybe there's equipment, maybe there's banners, maybe there's other things. And when you unveil that kind of thing with enough consensus and collaboration and enthusiasm, it can take everybody into new fun places.
Yeah, well, it's been, like I was saying, there's so much more to even discover with the brand, even from a communication standpoint too, and even then looking internally. So it's exciting on what possibilities are yet to become more aha moments in the future, right, Brendon?
Yeah, even this morning we were sponsoring a renewable energy event in New York City that's happening tonight. And you see it since we're sponsoring it, where one of our logos pops up in the social media today, and you're like, oh, that looks really good there. That's nice. And so it's fun to have that out there, and it's fun to be able to distribute the responsibility for brand management within the organization so that everybody can kind of be both promoters and keepers of the brand.
Mm-hmm. And can you talk a little bit also about the work we've done and the strategy we've put together for public relations and social media? How has that experience worked for you?
I think it's worked really well. I think one of the things we find most valuable now is the ability to adapt as we think through new communication strategies. The M Studio team did a really nice job of identifying some national trade publications that'll hit our national audiences in commercial real estate. And we're really looking forward to extending that footprint further.
Nice.
And I think on the social media side, what I think is always powerful about this, and the M Studios team has been really good about this, is the ability to kind of innovate and iterate, to kind of say, hey, what if we did X, Y, Z? What if, on LinkedIn, we did more targeted boosting, and then let's develop and evaluate some metrics to prove out the return on investment on those things. So I think that those things have been, on the social media side, those things have resonated throughout the organization.
Yeah, just that the fact that you can have those metrics and see those results
Yeah.
over time is huge. And then the ability to pivot from that, right? So it's like seeing what content's working better, what messaging, etc. And then having like our team, pivot that content for you. I always love doing that. It's like, okay, what's not working, we know right away.
Yeah.
So that's great. And then, so what kind of results, as we know, results are super important. What kind of results have you seen implementing our thinking work and strategies?
I think it's across all of the channels right now. I think, what we see is continued growth for the web presence. We see one of the best ways for us to evaluate our continued engagement across all of our communications programs is web traffic, just kind of as a proxy, because there's no perfect way to measure it, but web traffic is one, and we continue to see, I would say, 30% increases, give or take, maybe a little bit more year over year. And that to me is really telling of how the power of combining social media and media relations and the branding piece of this to really combine that. So I think that that's a big chunk. I also just think that, what we see when we go to events, right? We do a lot of events with community leaders. We do a lot of events with commercial real estate leaders. And when you talk to those people, when you're like, oh, I'm with Solar Landscape, they say, oh my gosh, you guys are all over the place right now. And that's a good feeling to have. And that is, really a result, both of the marketing and communications and branding strategy, and then how we best promote the work of the people who are, installing the panels on the roofs, and the people who are managing it and developing amazing community solar programs moving forward and collaborating with our communities to get it done.
Nice. Yeah, there's so many stories to tell. There's so many layers. And
that's what I find to be a real privilege of the marketing and communications function, is we get to brag really about some pretty amazing people doing some pretty amazing work. Going up on the rooftops of buildings like this one right here, once or twice, gives you a real appreciation for what the teams are doing every day to build out the clean energy economy.
Mm-hmm. It's amazing. On many different levels. So how has this changed the way you look at your business? Look at the business moving forward. How has this changed, like maybe a trajectory that you thought you were going to go on?
I think with good marketing and communications all the time, the biggest challenge is that, every success just creates more opportunities, and so the real question is, how do you focus that investment? How do you focus that time and attention and resources on the places that are going to generate the most return on investment? So I think what we've continued to see is a string of successes that always leads us to the same question, which is what's next? Mm-hmm. And when it comes to introducing the clean energy economy to not just New Jersey, but to the entire country, what's next is just a constant question. We ask ourselves that probably 5 or 6 times a day.
That's a good question to ask. Keeps you thinking, right?
Yeah.
Well, we're excited to be part of that future journey and helping you develop answers to those questions. What is next?
Yeah, we are too.
Mm-hmm. Great. Well, anyway, thank you so much for your time today.
Of course.
I really appreciate it.
Thank you.